sync with everyone there. But you saw our predictions. You guys can get your predictions in at event.supercell.com/ClashClans. You can earn some awesome prizes throughout the weekend. We're here with Kai going in with Root Riders and that Spirit Charge, the favorite attack throughout the whole tournament. It's super effective. This hard mode is very hard, but this seems to be the one thing that can consistently get through and have a chance to 3-star.
Yeah, setting up the pathing for your troops with the Root Riders. Ooh. Perfect timing on the recall, not taking the damage off the Giga Bomb if I saw that correctly. But I think he did not lure the possible furnace of the clan, because at least I don't see any fire might spawning. So that is possibly still something which is waiting in that clan castle.
Yeah, and that can be a little bit of a problem, especially if those fire mites from the furnace somehow make their way to the healers. They can take out a pack of healers without issue. We'll have to see if that is what is in there, which I think I tend to agree with you. We've seen it time and time again where that furnace is in there, and with no poison spell, there's going to be no way to slow it down besides the troops. But also, this was a big flaw yesterday. Remember, they took those big risks going all the way across the base, and Kai is doing the exact same to start off here. That furnace is out though, Itsu.
Yeah, the furnace is out, which means more damage. The Testu is getting kept alive with the vulnerability, the same as all of the remaining troops. And the Overgrowth Spear now on the far bottom side. The path into the town looks way better than what we have seen yesterday. You have said it. They have scored 2 1-stars with approaches like this yesterday. But today it seems like the 2nd star should be easily secured because the town hall is about to go down. And the attack overall, if the backhand can be overpowered, looks still solid.
Look at that merged multi-tower. That defense goes so hard, but great freeze. Or it might have been the Ice Golem there out of the clan castle, actually. Freezing that and the Monolith, negating a ton of damage. Here comes that Royal Champion in there. Does have the Rocket Spear. Keep an eye on that. Itsu, you pointed that out so many times yesterday. You gotta pop that Rocket Spear with enough time so you're not wasting that rockets, and she's healthy enough that he's gonna get all those rockets off. He's fist pumping, and Kai feels good about a 3-star.
What a great start for DIZI Group into this match. We know SYNCRONIC is relying a lot on their bases. They are overall a really strong team, but the defensive side from them is the best. Offensive, we have seen they have some off matches. So having DIZI Group now starting with a 3-star is really great news to match. But it seems that Generax is starting with his attack into this match, and he is not using any recall whatsoever, but instead he's going in with those mass dragons, setting up the pathing with a couple of rocket loons, and then relying on this blimped Yeti, or the cloned Yeti blimp with the dragons together.
Yeah, we saw him do this yesterday, but this was the attack that he had that catastrophic miss where he missed the battle blimp with the Warden ability. I don't think he's going to miss another battle blimp in his whole career, as that is a rare mistake from him. And once you do it once, you're hyper aware of it, especially in this kind of tournament. But here we go, setting everything up. Dragon's working through here. He's got the minion prince. He's pretty much got everything down in that bottom 6 o'clock corner. And now here comes the battle blimp. It's going to be key. Okay, he pops that Warden ability. It's going to be key to get that into the middle of the base so he can chain those clones and get those Yetis and Yeti mites to that town hall. Battle blimp should fall down right here, but with the clones, he should be able to get it right over to the town hall. Perfect clones, and there we go. General X should have no issue with the town hall takedown.
Yeah, what I like about this as well is that the blimp has triggered both of those poison towers, so that is really good news for him. And take a look at that, the entire core is gone. The Yeti mites were able to crush this entire thing. And we have now the back end, but they are going down quite quickly with having the Queen ability though still left, and as well that Royal Champion ability.
A lot of times with these dragon attacks, if you can just thin out a big chunk of the base, the Yeti bomb took out the whole core of the base, and now these dragons are going to take out one full side. A lot of the times the heroes can just kind of finish off the base, especially with the queen, that action figure, the giant going to pop out. Still has the Royal Champion in there. She's working, she's grinding away, and he still has 2 invisibilities to support her. He's gonna have to be on pace with those because that Monolith is now targeting her and it can deal out so much damage. But great invis to get the RC onto the mono.
Yeah, we have actually had the Booger and 1 minion taking down the merged cannon on the far right side, which is massive for this back end. We have the Royal Champion trying to stay alive. The Archer Queen still has her ability as well left. And time is ticking as well. We know 50 seconds still left, but remember, those heroes are dealing less damage, so time can be always an issue here.
Ooh, Look at that defending minion prince. He just melted that royal champion. The defending heroes deal more damage. Your heroes deal less damage. It is a tough trade-off, but with him still having the, oh, he actually has magic mirror with the healer puppet. So he's going to spawn more healers and he's going to have more queens on the board. It could be just enough to get through this. That fire spitter is not going to be a factor. The minion prince is frozen. I think General X has a chance here. It's all going to come down to this ricochet cannon. If he can get that down in time, he should be fine.
Ooh, this one Archer Queen is too far away from the others, which means there was no chain from the merged cannon. And because of that crazy split of the clones, he's getting this 3-star. What an incredible finish. That split of those Archer Queens of great defense for SYNCRONIC, because otherwise this might get close. Den is up next, and he's choosing as well the Royal Champion Charge to get into the space.
Denden's had a little bit of a rough go throughout this tournament. Yesterday, he had an 87% 2-star against Na'Vi, which was fine. That was enough to get the job done, but he was the first 1-star in that matchup against DIZI, the sister clan. So Den definitely needs to return to form here, at least get a really solid high percentage 2-star on the board here. If not, a 3-star would be incredible. But for Den, I think like a 90% 2-star would be a success on this attack.
Yeah, the recall is in, the Rage Tower is taken care of, which is great. And he's going to enter from this bottom side with his queen. The Ice Golem is, well, a little bit swagged, unfortunately, because it's going complete different direction. But now I'm a little bit scared of those regular buildings. The Valkyries are, okay, perfect, going inside. Whenever there's outside buildings, I'm a little bit scared that the Valkyries are just, yeah, going for the outside and never coming back, but the funnel has worked and his troops are underway.
The queen pulled them back in there, and you're right, he could have lost those Valks to the outside, and luckily the Root Rider had the walls open just enough so that they could sneak in there as well and not go back to the outside. Here comes the Warden ability to protect everything. The Overgrowth is now in, taking out those Fire Spitters, the Monolith, and that long-range merged Arch Tower there. So now he's got a little bit of damage negated, but these troops are already starting to thin out. There's not a lot of roots in there. He still does have a lot of hero support. The Snake Bracelet from the King can be very, very helpful, but this one is definitely thinned out already.
And he's just so late with the Super Barbarians at the top side. He could have pushed the King inside that core, but instead now the King going around the outside might have been not the best outcome for him, since he just needs that tanking inside. But the Giant doing his thing, taking down those two spitters inside the core. Right now tanking the back-end defenses, but it seems like it's time to go for the Giant. But the rest of the troops, they have to do the job now.
Yeah, the Giant was kind of on his own with one of those merged queens, and she was stuck on some skeletons, so she didn't really get a lot of value. Whereas if those skeletons weren't there, he could have maybe stepped up and got either the Monolith or that merged defense down, which would have been really nice. But Giant really didn't get a whole lot of value. But this one is creeping up to that 90% mark. And after the big misses from Den yesterday, I think this is still a success. I don't think it's going to triple, but I think this is a fine attack for DIZI Group. It's not going to be a 3-star, but it keeps your team in the game here and keeps you alive and gives you a chance to stay in this and win this war. Yeah, this one's almost there. This is only a few defenses off. Phoenix is going to pop up, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, not going to be enough, but as you said, a really solid percentage. We have just seen earlier that those percentage points can really pressure up the other team if they can then not perform, because 97% is not a bad attack at all in this hard mode. So it's now up to SYNCRONIC to really deliver.
Defending, reigning world champions. Philip going to come in with some Root Riders. He does have that log launcher selected. We saw this entry a lot yesterday, Itsu, and it can be super effective to support those heroes.
Yeah, it's now all about making sure that the setup is started for his log launcher dive, then probably taking down at least the Expo, so he can make sure that he's getting one of those poison towers with the Inferno Tower out of the way with the log launcher. I assume that is going to be the main target, to then enter either on the right or on the left side with his Root Riders. But so far, this is looking really great as an opening, and I think he can be happy because there were not a lot of traps, which means this entry might have been not predicted by the defending team.
Yeah, that's one of those tough things, is picking the right side to go in with that Royal Champion charge. You kind of want to be like unpredictable with this so you can get as much value and set up the funneling, set up the pathing for those roots. Keep an eye on that furnace. It is spitting out those fire spirits. The queen is fighting off those ice golems, and those fire spirits are just coming over and being a little bit of a nuisance. Here comes that long launcher to accompany the king into this compartment here. and also open up and deal some damage, maybe get that poison tower out. Warden's over there on the top side. He's kind of just got everything connecting here in the middle of the base, but he's got a lot of work to do. Here come the Root Riders. They're going to look to push in and maybe connect with the King, but the King opens things up with that Earthquake.
Yeah, but the lock launcher went down so quick because the Expo was on the Ice Golem, which died, and then, well, just redirected onto the lock launcher, which means the lock launcher did get pretty much zero value, unfortunately. And it's now all about the Root Riders of actually getting the pathing into the tunnel, which so far seems to be not working great. He has to invest the overgrowth to make sure that there's not as much damage to really save this attack and turn this around, because the tunnel has to go down and the defenses so far are not pushing anything into that tunnel direction, and the overgrowth might backfire a lot now.
He's got the RC coming in to take that Town Hall down, but you're right. A lot of these forces are going down. Royal Champion secures the Town Hall takedown. She's going to take that Giga Bomb right there. Now the Monolith is going to go ahead and get destroyed as well. So the Royal Champion actually coming in really clutch. But look at the bottom section of this base. There's a Fire Spitter firing on that Royal Champion. He's got Expo, Ricochet, Cannon, and Philip is doing his best just to run up as much percent. The nice thing here is that Giant is tanking the Expo, so the Royal Champion can continue to work and get as much value as possible. The Sneezy goes down. Now the Ricochet Cannon focuses fire onto the Royal Champion, and she's going to go down next. All a percentage game now, Itsu, and that 97 from Den is looking even sweeter now.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said earlier. Those 97% is not bad whatsoever. Really solid percentage. But on the other side now for Philip, he's not being able to get across this 90% mark, falling short, and it's just not working for him. The fact that the lock launcher died so early because of the play those, and yep, there we go. It's again with the lock launcher approach.
Yeah, it's just such a nice play where you can just set the pathing, you can set the funnel, and like the Clash of Clans, it feels like it's one of those most basic things that you learn at like Town Hall 7, Town Hall 8, maybe even before that, is funneling your troops. And this Royal Champion with the Electro Boots and the Invisibilities and the Spirit Fox in there, it just allows you to establish that funnel early on. And with the Root Riders just trouncing those walls and destroying them on their way, it is just such a nice tool. But I'm a little bit concerned here. It's looking like it's going to be another one of those across the base approaches. This is where DIZI Group fell into some problems yesterday. Let's see if he can correct it. Chien actually had a couple of decent attacks yesterday, 92% and an 88%. So looking to improve that and get a 3-star. King's going to work into this compartment. King can pick up some nice value in here.
Yeah, and the logs are rolling this time for way longer because the Expo is taken care of, which means the Siege Machine is staying alive longer. The Root Riders are now in, and it's now all about the pathing of the Archer Queen. She can even reach that Multi-Inferno Tower. Nice job here. And with the spawn Giant, she can go even further. The Root Riders at the same time are going into the tunnel section now, but the Valkyries bash, they did not go into and behind the Root Riders.
Yeah, they're on the outside of the base. The Roots are in the inside, so he's going to lose some of that damage. I thought he was going to go from that right side of the base, but he goes right at the Town Hall, and he's going to loop around, but he's going to have to deal with some of those big defenses at the end of this attack. Root Rider's going to come over to the Fire Spitter, but it's not really going to be able to deal a lot of damage. But look at those Yeti Mites popping out there and getting some nice damage. Now the Boogers are over there. He is just racking up damage. Those Rocket Spears from the Royal Champion, and Chien is taking down sections of General X's base, brick by brick, trying to tear it down and get the 3-star for DIZI Group.
Yeah, and since the Valkyries went around the outside, they were staying alive, and they're now rejoining to the opening of the wall with the Root Riders, but they're going again to the outside. But with the wall break, they were able to lead them back inside, so things are not looking maybe okay. As I'm saying that every hero is going down in existence, and this means it's maybe not looking as good as I was hoping for Chien, because there's a lot of base left on this one, and the healers are getting completely fried by this Multi-Inferno Tower.
You know, one thing I noticed is he went with that early Queen pop and getting that Giant out early. A lot of times we're seeing the success with that be when that Giant is more towards the end of the attack and providing that last little bit of support for the, with the rocket balloons, you called it, and that's what he's used all throughout our tournament here. He's had very mixed results on it, but if he can set up and land this fireball, he's one of the best at it. He does have that Angry Jelly on the Warden, so he's going to let that Warden target defenses. The Angry Jelly will make the Warden target only defensive structures, for the first 35 seconds of this attack. You have to be careful. You don't want to go too early on the fireball, because with him targeting only defenses, it could push him forward into the base and get him in a little bit of a trouble. But could he fireball the Town Hall here? I mean, there's a lot of value around that Town Hall right now.
Yeah, that looks like a solid target for sure. He would need to make sure that he's taking down the top Archer Tower. That would be a target for Rocket Loons maybe. But I think he has planned this out. I mean, he has 5 invisibility spells out. I feel like I would invest those Rocket Loons for the Archer Tower to make sure that I'm not wasting invisibility spells. But okay, it seems like that he's going for this combination instead and taking down everything around that Town Hall. A solid start. The Town Hall is staying up, but there's no Builder Huts around it to repair it.
Yeah, it's going to be just barely hanging right on there with maybe 20-25% of its health remaining. So the Warden can actually come by and clip it pretty easily. Now he's got that Flame Flinger working on the top, and look at it. It's going to target that Merge multi-cannon up top there, which we've talked about that defense all weekend. That thing can deal out some nasty damage. But if you can get that out with a Flame Flinger, that is crazy value. King and Queen now working through the bottom compartment. He's got Rocket Loons to support. Oh, he's going to go Rocket Loons for the Town Hall. Is it enough? First 2 land in there. It's still just got a little sliver of health in there. This attack is all over as far as different sections of the base, but now he's got to finish this Town off. Last couple rockets. He got it.
Wow, this multitasking is just incredible. Now as well, having the eye for the Headhunter. It was a bit too early, unfortunately. And this means there is the Rage Force for his Warden. But especially versus the Merge Cannon, that Rage was needed anyway. So I feel like the King is opening the entire compartments. And this means the Queen can access everything with the Warden still being alive. But that core looks dangerous. But he has just deployed the Royal Champion. So things are looking really good for Einstein.
He's got a lot of force in this. Still has a Rage spell this late in the attack. There goes the Rage spell to help the Queen out there. And man, he's looking really, really good. This is what Synchronic need. If they can get this triple on the board, they're going to take a commanding lead on this war. And it's looking like nothing's going to stop him. He's fist pumping. He's got his arms in the air. And Einstein gets the 3-star for Synchronic. And they push ahead. I believe they're going to take a 1 building lead also after that. So Synchronic up on stars, up a little bit on percent. A beautifully well
watch. And we're now back to the next attacker. We're back to Root Riders again, and back to the second option, which I just mentioned, with a new siege, making sure that we are getting the reinforcement right into the main push.
Gonna start off with that Spirit Charge. Funny enough, it's you mentioned maybe me trying it. That was my first thought for hard mode was, yeah, we could do a Warden walk into Rocket Loons. It'll be easy. Oh my goodness, I lost my Warden so many times because hard mode is so hard. It takes so much to adapt to how different the hard mode is. With him dealing less damage, the defense is dealing more damage. That's one thing I don't think a lot of people take into account. Unless you've tried the hard mode, it is drastically different. So I challenge all of you out there, go just hit a friendly challenge in hard mode and just give it a feel for yourself. All right, Ryuta working in here. I love this setup. Great value so far from this Royal Champion charge. He's just working in there. He's being nice and patient. Here comes the recall, but he got a pretty good little chunk of that base out. Now the Queen's going to go on that left side. He's got a great path to set everything right through the middle of this base. Great skeleton spell in there to distract the monolith. I love this setup from Ryuta.
Yeah, this looks like a really solid approach. Yesterday we have seen the Royal Champion charge from the left side onto the monolith, since pretty much all of those bases we're seeing today are getting reused, because it just seems like that those were the best bases to defend the majority of the attack strategies. And well, let's see if this different approach now is going to work versus this base, as the Royal Champion is lagging behind, and this means a couple of those defending troops are more annoying than what you would have expected, because just now the Royal Champion is going to reinforce the rest of the troops with her Electro Aura.
And she's going to go in there and take out that Merge long-range tower right there. Great strike from her. She also clipped that furnace on her way through there. This overgrowth should be wearing off any second now, and it's going to put her in a little bit of a compromising situation as she continues to target those defenses. It's going to be right in there by the Ricochet Cannon and the Minion Prince. She gets 8 alive, but still plenty of force on the bottom of the base to work through here. I did see he does have the action figure and magic mirror on that Queen, so he'll have that late support that we like to see for these heroes.
Yeah, but there's a lot of base left, so this is not going to be an easy task whatsoever. The fact that there is the wall opening makes sure that his troops can actually access into the next compartment without relying on the Root Riders, but it seems like they're staying alive for way longer. And again, one of the clutch factors is those healers staying alive. That is such an important thing, They're having them alive on the back end and keeping those troops alive as well. The warning going down.
Great
We still
freeze.
have that Archer Queen ability and great freeze.
Yeah, that was a perfect freeze right there. He's been trying to get that bottom fire spitter non-stop, but he hasn't been able to. But Giant's going to pop out, and I think he's got enough force here. It's going to be a response for DIZI Group. They're going to get a 3-star on the board. Ryuta gets the job done. We are all squared once again on stars. However, SYNCRONIC still have to attack in this 4th slot, so they can still push the advantage, but that is the Riders. Another Spirit Charge, the favorite of all of these players, with the exception of maybe the Tribe guys who like to go to the skies sometimes. But these roots are so good, so consistent, so strong. And here comes that Spirit Charge from the bottom right side of the base.
Yeah, trying to enter into that bottom compartment to set up the log launcher dive. We have as well the earthquakes, the earthquake, which is then going to happen around this bottom side. Invisibility spell to redirect the Royal Champion into this compartment. This means it's always one more additional spell needed to really push the Royal Champion to the right direction. And that Invis, making sure that he's getting that scatter. He's fine with taking the damage. But recalling the Royal Champ quite early, which means he's losing the Fox, but not getting the defense. Interesting choice.
Yeah, I think he was worried that he might lose that Royal Champion there, so just wanted to be extra safe. I mean, could have lost her at any second there, so I don't mind him recalling early, but you're right. Not getting that scatter shot could be a big factor. He's trying to snipe it off with a couple balloons. Queen actually goes ahead and gets the monolith, and now that log launcher is moving forward, but the scatter shot's locked onto it, so I don't think he's going to get that multi-inferno, except for the Yetis might pop out and get it. Yeah, they're going to go right that way. Earthquake in. Oh, he just cannot get a Yeti bite. He finally got that scatter shot down into.
Yeah, finally getting the job done there. And with the Archer Queen being able to reach pretty much everything in the core right now, it looks quite solid. If something is going to enter into the town hall. We have seen this town hall setup already quite a bit, where all of the defenses are around the town hall, which means those defense targeting troops like the Root Riders are not going to go to the town hall as easily. The Warden is joining now the troops in the core and is not protecting the outside troops anymore. Warden ability is used, but the outside troops are not protected.
The World Champion's in there for the town hall now. All those roots are taking some heavy damage. He still does have the healers on there, but the air skeletons are just eating them alive. Headhunter gets the minion prince down, so that's a big strike right there. And now the Giant is taking a ton of damage here. Queen is barely hanging on, but she's looking to go down as well from those multi-Archer Tower shots. This one's going to be close. He's running out of force here. Just a couple of super barbarians, and really it's all on just that last Root Rider and the Royal Champion who's at full health here.
Remember, those defensive heroes are just so strong.
Wow.
This is why the Archer Queen was able to provide so much damage now. We have still Sneezy taking down maybe a couple of more beatings, but we already said it. They would have needed a 99% 2-star to tie things up, and this attack is far away percentage-wise from such an attack. And this is DIZI Group with a sizable lead going into the last rotation of attacks on the percentage side. And if DIZI 3-stars, they are going to have a guaranteed win. With a high percentage, they could force SYNCRONIC into a 3-star position, exactly as what we have seen earlier from Na'Vi, where they had to 3-star or they would drop out of this competition. And we could see history repeat in this matchup.
It's looking like it's going to be an 84% here for Leo, which means the advantage is going to be 15% in DIZI Group's favor. So they are up pretty big here, but as you mentioned it too.
In as the last attacker for DIZI Group, it's going to be a Royal Champion charge, but we're going to see the Dragons. We're back to air with a really heavy Royal Champion charge, it seems like, and the Queen is already deployed as well.
Remember, Zken did have one of those 1-stars, but it was the last attack of the war, so it was like one of those situations where you're laying it all out on the line. It was a 3-star or bust situation, so the 1-star wasn't the end of the world for him, but it is of note that he did 1-star in yesterday's match, so looking to respond and improve upon that 1-star, but we know that Zken can do it. As we get started in here, this Royal Champion charge, these heroes, the Queen over there, he's just eating this base alive so far.
Yeah, great timings for those invisibility spells. Even after nearly 1 minute, he still has the Fox alive, which is really showcasing the skill there. You have the Earthquake, but Royal Champion going to the wrong direction, and this means this left side is staying alive, and that is looking really dangerous. I mean, the merged multi-tower, the monolith, and the multi-inferno tower, that is not an easy area for this backend. He's relying on the blimp as well to get that Town Hall, and with only a Rage, he needs to make sure that this Town Hall is going down.
I think he wanted that Royal Champion to go to the left and get that merge multi-tower with the haste, but she decided to go inside the base there. But that's one of those things with the base building, is those little details where you can kind of redirect things like that. Town Hall goes down, so no one-star threat here. He did use that Minion Prince ability to freeze up the monolith, freeze up that merge multi-tower, and look at this brilliant play, pulling those ice golems to the far left side with an archer. I like it a lot, but everything is thinning out, and watch this merge multi-defense. Oh my goodness, it just eats these dragons alive.
It's just dealing so much damage, and now the dragons, this is like the worst nightmare. You have cleared out the core, but now the dragons are going to path across, and they might trigger so many traps on their way on the other side. That is that's going to be painful. Let's hope that there's not too many traps on their way. They're even going to the left side to make sure that the angle is even worse for him. And so far the percentage is not the highest, I want to say, which means the chance is still there for SYNCRONIC to come back. But
I
let's
think
now
the
watch and
percentage
see if there's...
I think it's going to be fine, though. If my math is right, they were at a 15% advantage. So once he gets this clan castle, it's going to force SYNCRONIC into a must 3-star situation. Again, my math could be wrong there. We could be off by a few percentage, but I'm pretty sure with these last few buildings, he will force SYNCRONIC into a must 3-star situation. I don't think he's got enough force to get the 3-star here, but he does put all the pressure back over to SYNCRONIC.
Yeah, well, then he has done the job he had to do, getting across this percentage point to make sure that he's forcing SYNCRONIC to 3-star. And at this stage, it would have not mattered if he would have gotten a 99, a 90%, or, I don't know, like a 95. As long as he's crossing those 85 apparently, or like 86 you said, I think, he's good to force SYNCRONIC into this 3-star position, and they else, and as well again the lock launcher dive, which we have seen quite a bit. The last one did not go in the way of SYNCRONIC, so they have to improve this to have any chance of staying in this tournament.
Hold me now, this Royal Champion's going right for that merge multi-defense. They almost, oh wait, no, he makes it invisible, so he's gonna push her away from it. So maybe we'll see the Root Riders enter from that side, because he's gonna try to go over. Okay, now he's making, okay, he's all over the place here, Itsu. He's all over the place. I'm confused on what Mark's doing, and he's got to keep this Royal Champion alive if he wants to recall her. Oh my goodness, she barely hangs on.
Yeah, I feel like he wanted to clear out this top side, or like the top left side compartment with the scatter and merge cannon, because he wanted to have the multi-merge tower with a lock launcher, and that was the initial plan. This is why he tried to push his Royal Chip away from their defense. But instead now, the defense already going down, which means less value for the lock launcher. And the Archer Queen actually might go... Okay, she's good to the bottom side. I was afraid that she might go for the elixir storage, and that would have been pretty much a GG from the get-go. But now, the Root Riders are in, and they have to push the King and Queen further to the core.
King, Yetis, all working into the middle of the base, but they're going to be in a lot of damage area. However, they will tank for the Root Riders, allowing those Root Riders a safe passage in towards that Town Hall. There goes the Earthquake Boots, weakening up some more of those defenses. The Queen is going to look to join these Root Riders as a couple of those walls have opened. The Roots are bouncing to the outside, so the Queen is still on her own, still has Queen ability, still has Warden ability. This has to be a 3-star for Mark. As you see, they trail here by 21.4%. You can only gain 20% from an attack in a 5v5 format. This is all on the line. It's all coming down to this, and Mark is putting his best foot forward.
Ooh, Queen ability to spawn the giant. We have... No, wait, it's the healer puppet with the magic mirror, so no giant in this one. The healers have to keep those queens alive. The Rage is helping that in this setup.
Queen. Defending Queen ate 2 of the clones, but he's still fine here. That Rage is keeping him alive. Ricochet Cannon is doing some work here. Queen is gonna go down eventually here. She's trying to survive.
Oh.
He's still got some Roots. Queen's down. He's got Roots working on this right side. He's got some Valkyries. He still has the Royal Champion in there at full health as well. He's got a lot of force. That Ricochet Cannon being healed back up. Mark needs a 3-star in the worst way, but the forces are fading. I think he may have enough. I don't want to speak too early, but with that Royal Champion at full health, it's all going to come down to this Ricochet Cannon. That thing can deal out so much damage that it's starting to fire.
Oh my gosh, but it's not full hit points. It has only half the hit points. The Warden's getting targeted, the Royal Champ staying alive, and he is celebrating. This is crazy. The second match now today where the last attacker is clutching it out for their team.
GG's to DIZI Group. They had a great performance throughout this whole tournament.
That for sure. I mean, a really solid performance. And overall, again, we can see it. They had a higher average destruction, but again, they were not able to get this crazy.
Look at this lineup we have here. It's 4 teams from Worlds. Our next matchup, DIZI versus Vatic Esports in the upper bracket finals. What a stacked lineup we have.
That is just crazy, especially if you take a look at the first couple of results of like the teams scoring like 9.